Hey guys, I'm back. I'm Samantha and I'm a therapist. I'm creating a video every day for a whole year. And this video 351. Thanks so much for being here. Thanks for your time and your attention. I really appreciate you guys as always. And I'm gonna start my videos off with what I normally end with. So I normally end with remember that you are so loved, and tell somebody else that needs to hear that today, because there's many people that need to hear that. And remember to appreciate yourself, because what you appreciate appreciates in value. So I'm going to start my videos with some of that sometimes instead of ending them with that. So I think because a lot of people don't watch to the end of the video, of course. So I thought, well, let's bring the end to the beginning a little bit every now and again. So there's that. And also, I've got a few things in my notes that I wanted to bring up. How we need to be loyal to our desired state than to the old emotional pattern that we're so addicted to feeling and being every day. I talk to many, many people who are very programmed by their past, and we've all been there. We're all still there. We're not 100% going to be perfect at all of this by any means. Every day is going to be different, but you get to decide how you show up that day for yourself. It's about showing up for yourself. And I've told many clients, start doing something for 5 minutes, just 5 little minutes a day, set a timer. And when they do that, it starts to change how they see themselves, because they're showing up for themselves in a way that they haven't been, even though it's such a small increment of time. And so we want to decide where we're going. We've got to have a vision. Do what lights you up. Decide, this is like huge. Decide what lights you up inside and makes you feel joy and excitement and some passion thrown in there and some pure happiness. It's like a lot of us aren't doing something that we have inside of us that needs to be expressed. I think that's where I'm going, is I'm realizing that there's so much inside me that is not fully expressed, either in a physical product or a digital product or these videos. This is all a form of expression that has been hiding inside me for over a decade, probably 15, 20 years. So I encourage you guys to get in touch with what is inside of you that is ready to be expressed. What kind of art could be inside of you, or what kind of gift that you could use to serve someone or a group of someone's. And because I feel like if we have something that's unexpressed, we're maybe not as happy as we could be, because we're not fully like being our true self. And so really keep that in mind. That's been on my mind for a little while. And we need a sustainable fuel source. I heard someone talking about a fuel source. So we don't need to be motivated to do something when we're inspired. So when you have a fuel source like inspiration, something that lights you up, that's your why. You don't have to be motivated to do something that gets you excited. It's just you're inspired to do it. And this is what Esther Hicks would talk about inspired action. Align the energy and then take action. So figure out what it is that you want to be aligned to. Who is the you that you want to become? What thoughts would you think? What beliefs would you have? What are the beliefs now that might be keeping you from living that life that you're wanting to live? We are all holding on to something from back then that is affecting us right now. And the one thing that I've remembered too that has really helped me is remembering that all of our power is right now. So all of our energy and focus is right now. There's no more important time than right now. All we have to do is focus on, how am I feeling right now? What am I thinking about? I heard Bashar talking about, let me see if I can get this right. So he was mentioning the law of attraction and how we need to focus on our state, and the state will create, of course, this vibration, and will connect and be able to, manifest. And he was basically, the simplest way to say it is, we already have everything in us that we need to manifest anything we want. We just have to get out of our own way, because we're actually blocking it with belief systems that don't make sense anymore or are holding us back. And so, and I've heard Esther talk about that too. I've heard many people talk about that actually. It's just, we don't need to really do anything different because we're already perfect manifestors, master manifestors already, masters of creation already. It's already in us. It's just we hold on to self-doubt and we get in our own way. We criticize ourselves or doubt ourselves or think that we aren't capable of something. And it's those limiting beliefs we place on ourselves that if we were to let those go, everything would bubble to the surface and we'd be able to see it. So we just have to get out of our own way. We really don't have to do much. But all these techniques that we learn about are to help us kind of get into a state, a desired state. They're there for us to, I believe, get out of our own way. They're just a tool to use. So there are millions of tools that we can use. Not one of them is the end-all be-all. There's some great research done on all kinds of these, like meditation, and there's books galore written about different techniques. But again, you become your own evidence. I don't care personally what anybody else has done. I listen to other people. I do my research, and then I try things, and then whatever works for me, that's what I do, and that's what works for me. But throughout my research, I'd be like, oh well, this works, so everybody needs to be doing this, and oh well, this works, so everybody needs to be doing this. And then I realized, well, that's really annoying, first of all, to tell people that they need to be doing something that they probably don't even want to be doing in the first place, even though, oh, well, this says this works. Well, that person might not identify with that, and that's okay. Or it might not be the right timing for them to identify with that, and that's okay too. So we got to get rid of that ego sometimes and know that, hey, there's not one right answer for everyone. It's just what sounds good to you in the moment. And it's okay if other people don't agree with it, or if somebody does something else and they're 10 steps behind you, let's say, and they haven't caught up to where you're at. That's okay. Let them do what they need to do. And I had to learn to do this too. I had to humble myself and be like, okay, let everybody go on their way. Just because I know what I know doesn't mean that I know anything. I might think I know something. And so I had to just step down a little bit and say, hey, I gotta just do me. I gotta figure me out. And that's it. So, and I think that really helps too, whenever we kind of take the focus off of others. We have to focus on ourselves and face ourselves. And I think facing ourselves is really scary for most people. And so I really encourage you to face yourself, look in the mirror and start talking to yourself really nicely. Like I've said a million times, get in that mirror and say, I love you. I see you. I hear you. Because you're seeing yourself and hearing yourself. And that's really, really powerful of a practice to do. So let's see, what else? Oh, and also about consistency. When you're inspired to do something, you won't need to worry about being consistent. You're just going to do it. It's just going to become your lifestyle. That's going to become who you are. I'm doing 75 hard. I'm on day, I think 11 is today. It is 11 because I started on the 1st. And I just decided a couple days ago, I was like, I'm just going to do this forever. This isn't something that I need to stop doing because I love getting outside and working out, which is something I wasn't doing before. I was working out just in the morning inside. Well, now I really look forward to getting out there in the afternoon or the evening, in the middle of my day or at the end of my day. And I look forward to it now. And the only thing that'll change is I'll introduce chocolate again. But like, I love reading and I love drinking water and I love working out. So for me, it's just going to become most likely a lifestyle because I think I sit too much. And I think a lot of us sit too much. But that doesn't mean you have to do what I do. And I'm not going to preach about anything, and it feels good to me to not have to feel like I have to do that either. Even though my job is to kind of help guide people, I still don't know what's best for anybody. I'm just guiding, just like what I'm doing today, talking. I'm just giving information, and whatever people do with it is, as Bashar says, it's none of my business. I just got to put it out there, put a message out there and see what happens. And so, I think it's just really important to remember that there's no one right way, and we've got to mind our own business, our own body, our own mind our own mind, and magic happens from there because we're focused on ourselves. There's not this split energy going everywhere. And I used to hear about split energy from Esther, and I noticed, I was like, oh, my energy's split in this direction and that direction. And so we've got to kind of come back to ourselves and connect more with ourselves, because there's no one to change but self. As Neville said, there's no one to change but ourselves. And that means that we have all the power in the world when we can just focus on ourselves. And that's when you'll see things externally change. And another thing about relying on external change for our happiness, I've heard many people say, well, when this happens, I'm going to feel so much better. And I'm like, no, we got to feel better now. That's the paradox. We've got to feel better now. You cannot let something else control you outside of you. Because every time you say, oh, well, I'm going to be happy when this happens, then that means you're not happy now. That means, what state are you in now? You're in a state of waiting or scarcity or lack, or you're unhappy, or you're, angry or frustrated, whatever the feeling is. It's like, that's no way to live. I thought about this years ago before I knew about any of these laws and manifestation and all this stuff. I was like, man, I really want to try to learn how to be happy no matter what's going on around me, because there's so much power in that. And then I read Man's Search for Meaning with Viktor Frankl, and he was able to find happiness, basically in the concentration camps. And we're able to find happiness no matter where we are. It just takes practice, because, like, we all have a challenge going on. Like, I have a little chronic challenge it's super time consuming and inconvenient, but I'm like, hey, this is for my benefit. This is always for my benefit, no matter what it looks like. It's going to take a few hours of extra work to work on, and for a couple more weeks. But once it's done, it's like, oh, it's done. But I'm not going to be unhappy on the way to that. So I've made different ways that I can kind of, enjoy the extra time that I'm having to spend on it, and kind of gamify it a little bit. Be like, oh, I wonder how much I can get done today on this. And knowing that this will resolve, this will eventually be over. So why am I going to be upset along the way? So that's something, I think that is like the core for me. That is the core of, like, the biggest teaching anyone needs to master, is how to be happy no matter what is going on around you, and content. And knowing that no matter what's going on, no matter if it's the opposite of what I want, or whatever it is, that it's working out for my benefit in some way. So I literally tell myself that all the time when I'm starting to feel upset about something, or I see something that looks the opposite. I'm just like, this is for my benefit. It's creating a better me in some way. It's connecting me to me in some way. And I don't need to worry about anything. Like, there's no need to worry about anything, because everything's always working out. So that's kind of how I've trained myself to live, versus being like, oh, well, I'll be happy when this is over. I used to say that all the time. I'll be happy when this is over. I can't wait till this is done. And that's just no way to live. That's no way to live. Like, who wants to live like that? That's just not living. That's like half living, and you're surviving the day, and that's no fun. In other words. So, and then remember that whatever you say after I am is what you believe. I heard somebody say that, oh, I suck at that. And I was like, no, you can't say that. You got to stop saying that today. You don't say I suck at that. Because if you say I am sucky, then, that's what you're believing about yourself. You have to believe differently about yourself. It doesn't matter about anything else at first. It's like that concept of self is what is so important. And I've never found anything that's made me happier than working on my self-concept ever in my life. And like I've said, I'm getting happier every day, getting more peaceful every day, getting better every day. Those kinds of things are the things you want to say, because I used to say mean things to myself. And we just can't go there. And if any thought pops up, I immediately change it into what I want it to be. Immediately, I describe how I want it to be. And you do that with everything. Immediately describe something as you want it to be when you notice it's not what you want it to be. Oh, I prefer to see this, or I prefer to feel this, or I prefer this instead of this. And you focus over there. We don't focus enough attention over there because we're always over there to the other there. And it's just, and as Esther would call it, it's what is itis. So we're focused on what is instead of what could be and what will be. And so focus on that vision. And remember, what you say after I am is so powerful. So keep those I ams very look for those your disbelief in yourself. Look for those areas where you're keeping yourself stuck in the disbelief of what you're capable of. And one more thing about I've said for years to people, don't match other people's energy. If you're dealing with something, let's say a relationship issue, if somebody, I heard it today actually, well, I have to yell, he yells at me, so I have to yell at him so he'll actually hear me. And I'm like, that's matching energy. So we want to set the standard for our energy. So we don't want to be like the other person, because in reality, we know that everyone is you pushed out. So they're reflecting back a mirror at us. And so what is that mirror trying to tell us? That we still have anger or frustration or something that we're harboring in our bodies. So we want to recognize that just as a gift. Like, wow, I've recognized that I am easily able to change my state to something that is undesirable because somebody else is setting the standard of energy when I could set the standard. So you always want to check yourself. What standard am I going to set for myself? And then create your energy from there instead of where it's always gone. So look for your patterns, look for your self-talk. Is it negative or is it positive? Is it serving you or is it hurting you? And just practice. And one day you'll be like, wow, I can't believe that I actually used to live that way, because you won't even be that same person anymore. In fact, Bashar says we change bodies and change realities billions of times per second. It's hard to fathom, isn't it? It's crazy to think about, but when we really do piece it out a little bit, it's like, oh, well, this isn't that big of a deal. Life is supposed to be fun. So we make it just a little bit too hard, a lot too hard. We make it mostly very, very hard on ourselves. So I'm offering to you today, giving you permission to not make your life be as hard anymore. You don't have to, life can be easy, in other words, when you decide it can be. It really can be. It's just a lot of practice for some people. It was a lot of practice for me, and I still have some down times myself that I have to remind myself of all of these things too, because I am human after all, just like we all are. So we all have our stuff. And there's nothing wrong with us. There's nothing wrong with anything that we go through. It's just I think it's just layers upon layers of just evolution. That's how I look at it. So yeah, I think that's it for today. I'll let you go. And I'll say the end again. Remember, you are so loved. And remember to appreciate yourself, because what you appreciate appreciates. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.